Summary of the poem What Lips My Lips Have Kissed, and Where, and Why by Edna St. Vincent Millay. Edna St. Vincent Millay's poem expresses the speaker's deep sense of nostalgia and quiet loneliness as she reflects on past romantic relationships that she can no longer clearly remember. The poem opens with a confession. She once shared kisses, affection, and intimate moments with many lovers, but now the details, their faces, the places, and even the reasons, have faded from her memory. Instead of remembering the lovers themselves, she remembers only the emotional traces they left behind. The rain tapping on the window becomes a symbol for these lost memories. The sound reminds her of ghosts, suggesting that her past lovers feel like spirits from another life, shadowy and unreachable. They tap and sigh as if trying to communicate with her, but she cannot call them back. In her heart, she feels a gentle ache, not for any particular person, but for the idea of the passion and youth she once experienced, which will never return in the same way. The speaker then uses a powerful metaphor. She compares herself to a tree in winter. The tree does not remember each individual bird that once visited its branches, just as she cannot recall every lover she once knew. What the tree does know, however, is that its branches feel emptier and more silent than before. This silence symbolizes the emotional stillness the speaker feels now that her season of romance has passed. She cannot name each love or explain the details of every relationship, but she is aware that these experiences once brought warmth, excitement, and life, like summer singing in a tree. Now, with the summer of her youth gone, she realizes that a part of her inner joy has also faded. The poem highlights the bittersweet truth that time takes away not only the people we once loved but also the intensity with which we loved them. The poem is written in the form of an Italian, Petrarchan, sonnet, which traditionally deals with themes of love and memory. It contains 14 lines and is divided into an octave, the first 8 lines, and a sestet, the final 6 lines. The octave describes the speaker's feeling of loss and the haunting presence of forgotten lovers, while the sestet offers the reflective metaphor of the winter tree, deepening our understanding of her emotional state. The traditional turn, or volta, happens at line 9, thus in the winter stands the lonely tree, where the poem shifts from personal memory to symbolic reflection. Millay uses iambic pentameter, a common meter in sonnets, where each line contains 10 syllables following a rhythm of an unstressed syllable followed by a stressed syllable. This steady rhythm gives the poem a graceful, almost musical flow, which contrasts with the sadness of the subject matter. The rhyme scheme generally follows the Petrarchan pattern. Abababa in the octave, and CD in the sestet. This creates a sense of harmony and containment, even as the emotions inside the poem feel unsteady and unresolved. The poem's main themes include loss, aging, memory, the fading of youth, and the passage of time. Millay is not simply mourning the men she once loved, she is mourning her younger self, the version of her who felt passionately, freely, and vividly. By the end of the poem, she acknowledges that she cannot recover the joy she felt when summer sang in me, emphasizing that some experiences remain beautiful precisely because they are temporary. The poem ultimately captures the universal human experience of looking back on the past and realizing that although the details may blur, the emotional impact continues to shape who we are.
Line-by-line explanation of the poem What Lips My Lips Have Kissed, and Where, and Why by Edna St. Vincent Millay.
Line 1. What lips my lips have kissed, and where, and why. The speaker begins by admitting that she no longer remembers the people she once kissed, the places where these moments happened, or the reasons behind them. This line immediately introduces a sense of fading memory and the passing of time. It shows that her past romantic experiences have blurred together, suggesting both a long history of love and the sadness of forgetting it. Line 2. I have forgotten, and what arms have lain. She continues by saying she has also forgotten the arms that once held her. The tenderness and intimacy she once shared with others are now distant memories. This line deepens the sense of loss, emphasizing that even physical closeness, something once comforting, is no longer clear to her. Line 3. Under my head till morning, but the rain. Here she remembers the image of her head resting on someone's arm until morning, but then shifts to the present moment with the word but. The rain becomes a bridge between past and present, signaling a mood change. The mention of rain introduces an atmosphere of melancholy and reflection. Line 4 is full of ghosts tonight that tap and sigh. The rain reminds her of ghosts, which symbolize the lovers she cannot remember. The tapping and sighing sounds of the rain on the window seem like these forgotten lovers trying to reach out to her. This line suggests that memory is haunting her, not with clear images, but with emotional echoes. Line 5, upon the glass and listen for reply. The rain seems almost alive, tapping at the window as if waiting for her to answer. This personification shows her awareness of the past pressing against her present. However, she cannot reply, because she truly cannot recall the details of those loves. The silence highlights her loneliness. Line 6, and in my heart there stirs a quiet pain. Hearing the rain awakens a soft, painful feeling in her heart. It is not sharp or overwhelming, it is a quiet ache, the kind that comes from knowing something precious has been lost over time. This line conveys emotional maturity and subtle grief rather than dramatic sadness. Line 7, for unremembered lads that not again. The pain she feels is for the young men she once loved but no longer remembers. They are unremembered, which shows how thoroughly time has erased them from her mind. She mourns not the individuals themselves, but the fact that they once meant something to her and are now lost to her memory. Line 8, will turn to me at midnight with a cry. These past lovers will never return to her again. She once experienced passionate moments, lovers coming to her at night, calling out to her, but those days are gone forever. This line emphasizes the finality of youth and love that can no longer be repeated. Line 9, thus in the winter stands the lonely tree. Here the poem shifts to a metaphor. She compares herself to a tree in winter, bare, alone, stripped of the leaves and birds that once filled it with life. Winter symbolizes the later stages of life, when warmth and passion have faded. The tree represents her emotional state. Line 10, nor knows what birds have vanished one by one. Just as she cannot remember her former lovers, the tree does not know exactly which birds have left its branches. It simply knows that those birds were once there and are now gone. This metaphor shows how memory can fade, but the feeling of loss remains. Line 11, yet knows its boughs more silent than before. Although the tree cannot name the birds, it can feel their absence through the silence on its branches. Similarly, the speaker feels a quiet emptiness where love once sang within her. The silence symbolizes the emotional stillness she now lives with. Line 12, I cannot say what loves have come and gone. The speaker states plainly that she cannot list the people she once loved. Her past is a blur of experiences rather than clear memories. This line reinforces the theme of forgotten passion and the passage of time erasing details that once felt important. Line 13, I only know that summer sang in me. Although she cannot remember the specifics, she knows that her youth, symbolized by summer, once filled her with joy, love, and vitality. Summer sang in me suggests that she once felt alive, vibrant, and full of emotional warmth. It was a time of passion and beauty. Line 14, a little while, that in me sings no more. She concludes by accepting that the joy and passion of her youth lasted only a short time and no longer exist within her. This final line is filled with quiet resignation. It expresses the universal truth that joy, love, and youth are temporary, and ultimately fade with time.
About the poet. Edna St. Vincent Millay was born on February 22, 1892, in Rockland, Maine, and became one of the most celebrated American poets of the 20th century. Known for her lyrical voice, emotional honesty, and bold exploration of love, independence, and human longing, she helped reshape modern poetry. Millay showed exceptional talent from a young age and gained national attention after winning a poetry contest that led to her studying at Vassar College. She was also a gifted playwright and an important figure in the literary movement known as the Jazz Age. Her poetry often blended traditional forms, such as the sonnet, with modern themes of desire and personal freedom. In 1923, she became the first woman to win the Pulitzer Prize for Poetry. Millay lived a vibrant, unconventional life, and her work continues to influence readers for its beauty, passion, and emotional depth. She died in 1950, leaving behind a powerful poetic legacy.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.